Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Knights of the Dawn podcast. I'm Jessica,
And I'm Megan.
and we are here to discuss chapters 16 through 19 of Book 4 of the Fablehaven series, Secrets of the Dragon Sanctuary.
Yes, indeed.
Last episode was a fun one.
Yeah, and these are some exciting chapters as well.
This is very true. I was honestly really surprised because, like, in this section, we finally get to Wormroost.
Yeah.
And we start having, like, stuff happen. But, like, I never realized we don't get to Wormroost until halfway through the book.
That's true.
Like, that really shocked me, honestly. I guess I'm just kind of used to, especially in, like, book 1, book 2, book 3, because everything happens really at Fablehaven, so I'm used to, like, oh, we're on set for the entire...
We're already there.
We're already there for pretty much the entire book. But here, like, there was, like, a whole side quest with Kendra, just dying, and then Seth's side quest, getting the horn.
There's really, like, 3 parts to this book. It's not quite the same as the 3 acts, but it's like Kendra gets kidnapped / dies or whatever. Then they resolve that, and then Seth has all, like, the chapters of, like, last time, basically, where, like, another part where Seth is, like, doing his thing, and then this part is, like, Wormroost. Once they get the Wormroost, it's, like, the third part of the book, which we finally have started.
Which, it's not like they're very equal in length. Like, Kendra's captive for the first, I'm counting chapters, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 chapters.
Wow, that's more than I thought.
Right? That's like the first.
Wow.
In my copy of Libby.
I've never really thought to, like, count it out before.
Yeah. It's kind of shocking. Yeah, and here it's like the first 8 chapters. And then Hall of Dread is chapter 9. So chapters 9 through 11 are them figuring out, like, what they're going to do next. And then 12 through 15 is Seth being Seth. Seth's little side quest. So his is only 4 chapters.
So I guess I would put the part of, like, the Hall of Dread through Seth getting the horn as, like, the same part,
so 6. So the first 9 are Kendra side quests. The next 6 are Seth side quest. Yeah, especially because in Hall of Dread we kind of figure out,
you start to see Seth's powers.
He's like, he's hearing things.
Yeah.
Even in the magical world, Harry, hearing things is never a good sign. Sorry, I think we already made that reference.
We've quoted Chamber of Secrets, like, every single episode.
I mean, I'm not complaining. And so then, now we're from moving out until pretty much the end. Yeah, we're in.
Yeah.
We're in this.
The rest of the book. Yeah. The rest of the book is in Wormroost, so.
Yeah, and, like, the copy I have, it's about a total of, like, 570 pages. We get to Wormroost.
But that's on Libby.
This is on Libby, but I'm just saying, like,
condensed.
relatively.
Yeah.
I'm saying relatively. We get, like, the entire book is about 570 pages, and we get to Wormroost at 320.
Yeah,
halfway.
On my copy on Kindle, it says I'm on chapter 16 moving out, and it says I'm halfway through, so.
Yeah, so it's almost exactly halfway.
Half the book is a Wormroost, which is good, because, I mean,
it still feels...
It's the main part of the book, anyway.
And it's a larger book, so it doesn't feel like we're missing out on anything by only spending half the book in it.
No, there's more to come with
for sure.
Dragon Watch.
Stay tuned.
That's all I'll say. But anyway, so we start with moving out on Christmas. We just celebrated Christmas, like,
we did
a couple weeks ago.
How was your Christmas?
Almost like a month ago. It was chill.
Yeah,
it was pretty good. How about you?
We had all the family home, so that was really fun. First time in a couple of years. It was good.
That's good. Nice.
I gave some really good gifts. I was actually really proud.
Like, I'm a good gift giver.
Well, like, there are just certain gifts that you're just like, man, that was a good gift. Okay. And it just makes you feel good, like, almost as good as when you get a good gift.
Is that one of your love languages?
I think, honestly, I would say gift giving. Knowing, like, it feels good when you know a person well enough to get them a gift that you know they'll like.
True.
Like,
'cause you don't want to get someone a gift that they're like, oh, thanks.
Just to give a gift.
Just to give a gift.
Yeah, but, like, this Christmas, I got my older sister a box set of the old Magic Treehouse books.
Oh, okay.
And I felt pretty good about that one because, like, we loved reading those ones as kids.
Man.
And so I got her that. And, like, a few years ago, I got her I'm really good at shopping for my older sister. My
You have,
younger
like- you have,
siblings,
like the same book taste.
yeah,
so
we do.
it's
Yeah,
easy.
but also my younger siblings, I got nothing. Well, I got them things, and I think they liked them, but I don't. They confuse me.
Us
Yeah.
younger siblings love to be confusing to our older siblings.
Yeah.
Actually,
Baby.
anyway, we talk about it in a sec, but there's definitely younger sibling energy connection I felt with Seth in some of these chapters.
Yeah. But yeah, like, because like the reason I kind of bring that up is because in the beginning of the chapter, moving on when they're talking about Christmas, Kendra's like reminiscing about how like when she was young, it was a day when magic overlapped reality. Now magic is her reality, but where like she would always stay up late trying to catch Santa. It was always exciting to get the gifts. But as she gets older, it's more about seeing her friends and family. And I'm like, girl, you're like 14 years old. For me, it was definitely still about the gifts and stuff like that when I was that age. But like, especially like at my age, like now that we're like college students and starting to enter the world, it does feel a bit more like, okay, it's fun to see the entire family get back together.
Yeah, I have 2 young nephews, so now it's fun to have them open their gifts and stuff. You know, it's way more fun because it's like, oh, the childlike wonder of Christmas and stuff. It's just like, it's so much more fun when you have like little kids.
It is. That's true.
Okay, here comes the younger sibling energy that I was talking about.
Hit me.
When when Kendra says she decided that her brother should become a fortune teller. He had correctly named her, Warren, and Gavin as members of the strike force. What was my note about this? Oh, okay. I remember what I was thinking about this. I don't know why I was thinking about this. Maybe we just cut this out later. So Seth like correctly guessing everything, including like his exclusion.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I kind of related to this as a younger sibling, but it's like when you're the younger sibling, but you're like old enough to like kind of like think for yourself and like kind of be more included in things, and your older siblings forget that you're older. And you're like, hey guys, I can like do things now, you know?
You know what? That's fair.
I don't know why I thought of that, but it kind of resonated with me. I was like, like when like your older siblings can't come to the fact that you're old enough to have a good grip on the situation, but people kind of write you off because you're the younger one and you've always been the younger one, and they don't realize that you're like older. It doesn't really apply to Seth as much because he's still pretty young.
Yeah.
But that happened to me a lot growing up, especially the past couple years as I've gotten to be like an adult. Like my older brother, I'm like, I'm an adult too. Like I can make decisions. Like you're not the only one making decisions.
I know. I feel the same way because my little brother just officially became an adult, and like I still feel like, no, you can't drive me places. No.
Yeah.
Like no, you can't do that. No, you're not driving me anywhere. No, you're too young. And I'm just like,
Us younger, I'm the youngest of 3. Us younger siblings, when we get older, just want to be recognized as functioning humans, and not just the younger sibling.
well, it's hard when we remember you as infants.
Okay.
Like I remember my little brother as an infant, and I remember when he
your
still
little brother
liked
is now
playing with
taller
me.
than you. Well, he's been taller than you for a while, hasn't he?
It's been a couple years. Okay.
So yeah,
about-
I just kind of relate to Seth a little. Just like I don't know why. I was like the younger sibling in me was
Energy,
like,
yeah.
I feel that sometimes.
And as an older sibling who is having trouble recognizing that their younger siblings are, in fact, adults and can be trusted with adulting things, I see your point.
It's a good lesson to learn on both sides.
Okay, so yeah. Trust your younger siblings once they earn it.
Yeah.
If they're still teenager boys,
Though Seth is up to something, so maybe don't trust him, but also trust him because he's capable.
he's proven, yeah, at this point.
After what he did, he's proven that he's capable. So
But it is
I
really
feel you,
funny.
Seth.
It
I
is
feel
really
you.
funny how he calls it completely, and he just goes like, because it was in the previous chapters, and I don't know how much we talked about it. I don't remember entirely, but he was just like, "You're going because you're special. Warren's going to go to protect you, and then
Gavin will go because
and then
he's
Gavin,
the dragon prodigy.
because he's the cool guy. I reread Kendra's reaction to that, and she's like, "That doesn't matter. Do you really think he's gonna go?"
She's like, I have to try to pretend that I don't care, but I really do care.
And Seth's like, duh, come on.
Yeah. He's like, you're going to a dragon sanctuary. You're going to need
the
Mr.
dragon
Guy. Exactly.
Yeah, and then, so yeah, Tanu's also going. And
Yeah.
and Seth is not, because I just love this paragraph where it's like, fortunately, Seth had taken the news much better than she would have expected. Grandma and Grandpa seemed relieved and surprised when he handed over the horn without a fuss. Kendra assumed it must have helped that her brother had expected the decision. Whatever the reason behind his acceptance, Grandma and Grandpa had been sufficiently impressed to forego formally grounding him. Kendra sometimes pitied her grandparents as they tried to manage Seth. Short of locking him in a cell, how are they supposed to ground a resourceful kid who refused to stop sneaking out?
True.
I feel like she does him a little bit of discredit here, because it's not just that he'll refuse to sneak out, it's that, how do you ground a kid who just saved your behinds?
Exactly. They were talking about that, and like when Seth like storms off and whatever, and Grandpa's like, what are we gonna do with him? And like, well, he did help us get the horn. Like, we can't really punish him for that, but he still needs to learn his lesson about like taking risks and danger and whatever. Even though he's learned some of it, like it's complicated. Okay. So yeah,
but
Seth,
again, I just feel a little bit of a disservice by her just saying he's a resourceful kid who refuses to stop sneaking out. Yeah, and who's also saving your behinds while he's at.
But also he does refuse to stop sneaking out, so like it's fair.
Yeah. Okay. Just give him the respect he's due, Kendra. That's all I ask. Okay, so now,
even though he's the younger sibling.
Okay. So I love how Kendra's like, oh, I got a winter coat and thick gloves,
yeah,
sturdy boots for Christmas. Wonder why I would possibly need any of these things.
These could be useful in the near future. Maybe.
Where Moose is up in the mountains, just to clarify.
Yeah, it's in Montana, so in the middle of winter.
Mm-hmm.
That's cold. So they say that they're going to eat Christmas dinner, and then those at Fablehaven will go to catch their flight to meet up with everyone else. And they say that it'll be Gavin, Dugan, Trask, and Mara. So we know everyone on this mission.
Yeah.
We've met everyone before, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Oh, yeah. It talks about how Mara wasn't already a member of the Knights of the Dawn, but then she joined after the loss of Lost Mesa.
Oh, my gosh.
The fall of Lost Mesa. What?
Burl!
Oh.
Oh, I'm sorry. My eyes skipped ahead. My eyes. I was looking for the part where we were talking about Mara. And I was like, oh yeah, that's super fascinating. Then I saw Kendra. Somebody brought you a special present.
Okay, let's get into Verl.
Let's get into Verl. Okay, here we go.
So Verl has brought Kendra a Christmas present, and you know what he says? The best present you could give to someone so beautiful is themselves.
He's like the anti-Narcissus.
It's so weird.
Like he's so consumed by one person.
I just wrote cringe.
I'm so Seth in this. I love that we have Seth as a stand-in.
True.
I love that we have Seth as our like representative in this scene.
We're like, yeah, this is so ridiculous.
Just dying the entire time this is happening.
Because Verl is like all dressed up in
top hat,
turtleneck, top hat. It says he was leaning against the porch railing in an unnatural pose, straining to appear casual.
When he spoke, his words came out in a rush, as if he were reciting rehearsed lines. How good to see you, Kendra. What lovely weather today. I trust your holiday has been satisfactory. Mine has been splendid. I enjoyed a scrumptious breakfast of plum pudding and walnuts. Hi, Verl.
Yeah.
Can't
it's just so weird. Okay. But in the last episode, I think we were talking about how, like, it's kind of weird because Verl is, like, 4,000 years old.
Yeah, which we did confirm with Brandon Sanderson.
We did confirm. We went to a signing, it was like a month or two ago, like, before Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
And we asked him, we were like, so are satyrs actually, like, 4,000 years old? And he was like, yes, but because they're magical creatures, they don't change unless they're interacting with mortals. Mm-hmm. So satyrs like Newell and Doran are like just reaching adolescence because they've been like kind of changing, with their interaction with mortals, which is why they'll probably be acting why they've act the way they do. And so Vril is probably like adolescence as well, I guess, technically.
He's certainly acting like it.
Yeah, so he is acting like it. So it's a little less weird in that context, but it's still very cringe.
100%.
It's still very cringe, but also very funny from Seth's point of view. What Seth says is very funny.
So good. And credit to Kendra. She doesn't crush the man or the satyr. Like, she's like, "You're very kind, Vril. Thank you for the picture you drew for me. It was very lifelike."
Yeah.
You shouldn't have.
Thanks.
It's
more like trying to put him down easily.
it's like my little sister yesterday when she was trying to get rid of the guy I was telling you about. At least my little sister finally did it. She never does, really, does she?
No. Well, I mean, Vril does say, like,
I understand. I know we can never be together.
I will admire you from afar.
An admirer, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, he gets it, which is,
I don't know. It still feels at the end.
Gets it, but, like,
even at the end,
he kind of understands. I don't know. I'm just glad we don't have Vril and Dragonwatch. We don't have to deal with this anymore. It was a funny bit, but now it's over. It's dead. It's gone.
Honestly, spoiler for ending of Fablehaven and Dragonwatch.
And all through Dragonwatch.
I'm really curious because at the end of Dragonwatch, Kendra and Bracken officially get together.
Finally.
And I'm really, honestly though, but I'm really curious to see what Vril's reaction is. Because I imagine we're going to see him in the Satyr in the new Doran series. Yeah. If we don't, I will be very surprised.
It'd be kind of weird.
I'm honestly kind of here for heartbroken Vril refusing to leave his cave or house.
I shall never find another girl like Kendra, blah, blah, blah.
I'm kind of here for seeing that and having Newland Doran just coming in and just being like, dude, you got to get out of the house.
Like, bro, move on.
Like, come on, we go talk to some naiads. Go flirt with some nymphs. You need to get out. You need to get out of the house. Come on, buddy.
Bros helping a bro.
I can see that being a funny story, especially I don't know. I feel like we may have already talked about this, but because the cover of the new Newland Doran has a satyr petrified on the cover, right? And we thought it might be Vril. Oh
yeah, we did think it might be Vril. That's true.
And he was holding like a bouquet.
Let me see. I took a picture of the bigger. Hold on.
Of the cover art?
Yeah.
The poster? That's it. There's the word.
Okay, yeah, so it's like Newland Doran, they're holding tennis rackets.
Because those are the weapons of every great hero.
It probably is Vril, honestly, because it's a satyr with a bow tie holding flowers.
I'm betting it's Vril.
It has to be Vril.
Okay, this might be a little dark, but I really hope he doesn't go for suicide via Medusa. Or suicide via Gorgon. That would be kind of dark.
Why would he be committing suicide holding flowers?
Maybe he was
dressed in a bow tie.
Okay, do you think he's trying to get Kendra back?
He's probably trying to get someone. Maybe not. Maybe Kendra, or maybe he's found another love to.
You know what? I hope he has. I hope he's found another love. Someone who can reciprocate with weird statues of togas. Why togas?
I don't freaking know. Don't try to.
Spoilers have ended, by the way.
No, you can come back now. You don't have to try and figure out the mind of Vril the satyr. 4,000-year-old, 12-year-old, or whatever.
Okay. The fact that he is 4,000 years old and probably lived during Rome helps me actually a little bit.
True. There we go. Yeah, he probably saw the actual statues or something.
And I mean, like, satyrs were, like, not revered, or fawns, I guess, at that time period.
Fawns.
They were not revered, but they weren't hated. Like, they were probably the sign of a good party, you know?
The party ponies. Percy Jackson reference. Always manage to
I'm here for it.
We do almost a Percy Jackson reference every episode, so I just had to slide it in.
Another reason why the Greeks are superior to the Romans, their satyrs actually do stuff. Like Grover versus whatever his name was.
We're talking about Percy Jackson.
We are.
Perspective.
Yeah, Percy Jackson's perspective. Greeks with like Grover, Counselor of the Cloven Elders actually doing stuff versus...
Coach Hedge.
Yeah, Coach Hedge being a friggin'
cupcake
bat-wielding maniac. And then we have on the Roman side, we have, what's his name?
They're just like getting high, like
Honestly, they're just
and begging for food and money. That's all they do.
I remember
in
I
Camp
have
Jupiter.
a distinct memory of what's his name?
I don't remember his name. The one that
Don
talks
the
to
Fawn.
Hazel.
Don the
Fawn.
Don the Fawn.
You remember because it rhymes.
Yes, that is what finally
That's the
created
only
it.
reason.
Like Percy just being, your name is Don the Fawn.
He's like, you don't see anything with that? He's like, I know I lost my memory, but like, come on, dude.
There's something there. No, but yeah, so Don the Fawn, like, just like being like panhandling, and I'm just like, hey, can I get a few denarii for the bus? Because I really need to get my job. Don, satyrs don't have jobs. We don't have buses. Yeah.
You live here.
But can I have denarii?
No.
Oh, those books are iconic. But yeah, again, Greeks forever. Greeks, let's fight stuff.
Yeah.
We love them. So
Anyway.
much. Okay.
So
Continuing
on. Seth is losing it and he has to go inside. He's like, I need a drink.
He's been
And
trying to like cover
holding
his
in the
laughing by
laughter.
coughing.
Yeah.
And he's like,
That's
basically-
actually like funny part.
honestly, he's like dying over here, and I seriously relate. And then Verl being like, Seth loves to rake me over the coals. I don't mind trading jests now and again. We enjoy an almost brotherly affection.
Yeah. The way you just said that.
Is it not? It's how I read
The
it.
way you just said that made me think of like Pride and Prejudice, like Mr. Collins or something.
It has an ellipsis.
no, it was just perfect. It was so funny. It
Thank you.
was like good
tried.
timing.
Like, it has an ellipse. That's what those are called. Like the ...
Yeah, ellipses.
Ellipsis. It has an ellipsis. Like, it implies a pause. The only thing better is if it had one after as well. An almost brotherly affection.
Oh my gosh.
And again, to Kendra's credit, she lets him down easily. You get that I'm 15. All too well, my darling. Okay, I added the my darling.
Yeah, let's be clear. That was not in
That-
there.
that
'cause
was
that
added-
makes
that
it
was added.
worse. Consider me a remote admirer.
Adoring your elegance from afar.
I was like, this is remote? You need to step up.
I wish it was a little bit more
You need
remote.
to go a little further
like,
there, buddy.
6 feet away, COVID, please.
Go away.
We're-
Restraining order,
We're in
100 feet
remote-
away.
Remote learning, please.
Stay in the woods.
Remote admiring. Should be over Zoom only when
Afar.
I can hang up very quickly.
Stay away. Yeah.
All the great love stories have their tragic elements.
Oh my gosh.
Even after trying to let him down, Kendra gives him a Christmas present.
A peck on the cheek.
Forehead.
Whatever. Forehead. That's so much better, actually. And then Seth is like, wow, you just made his year.
She heard him mutter something like, Newell owes me an hour of television.
Of course they would make bets on it. Of course they would.
I wonder if the bet was that she would kiss him or if it was just like that he actually went and gave it to her.
Yeah. Something like that. And then she's like, what do I do with my statue? And Seth's like, leave it on the porch. Oh, wait. What should I do with it? Leave it on the porch. Are you going to bring your monument inside? Oh, no, it's the hat.
The hat, she said.
She's like, what do I do with the hat? And Seth's like, leave it on the porch. Are you going to bring your monument inside? I think I'll keep it out here for now. Why
White
grapes
grapes.
in a toga?
What
Seth
we were
opened
saying.
the door. Verl's mind is a mystery better left unsolved. Very true.
Very similar to what you were saying.
We don't need to explore that.
Want to help set the table for your last meal?
Yeah, it won't be. I'm sure you guys will grab something at the airport.
Seth!
That's so funny.
We love Seth so much. Oh, and honestly, it like describes their entire dinner, and now I'm hungry.
Sounds so good.
Oh my gosh. Garlic mashed potatoes,
Ham
ham,
garnished with pineapple, carrots sweet with brown sugar,
green beans,
beans,
hot buttered
buttered
rolls,
pumpkin pie, apple pie, pecan pie, vanilla ice cream.
Specifically,
Ooh.
if it's the super premium vanilla from Costco.
Oh,
That stuff slaps.
super premium vanilla.
That's what it's called. It's fire.
I mean, most things from Costco are bangers.
This
so.
is true. Delectable.
And then
Now I want
Seth
food.
wolfs everything down and then excuses himself before the meal is over. So
Yes, interesting.
Interesting.
Nothing suspicious happening
you're
here.
like, is he going to go pout or what? What is happening? Of course, we know because we already read the chapters, but
So, interesting thing about Wormroost is Patton is apparently the only outsider who has gone there in decades.
Yeah, that's super interesting. Of
Which,
course,
I
it's
mean-
Patton. Like,
I mean, of course it is.
If
but I
anyone's
find it
gonna
really
be there.
interesting. Like, Chuck Rose never went when he was
Yeah.
alive. Gavin obviously hasn't gone because he's too young at this point. But I just find it interesting. Like, again, we talked about this a couple episodes ago. When Patton set out to make this key as hidden as possible, he was not playing.
yeah.
He said, I'm going to make this as untouchable as humanly possible.
And what they explain about the dragon sanctuaries is that, like, I don't know if they've already said this, but what it is that there's 7 dragon sanctuaries.
They've explained
and
this, yeah.
3 of them are open. I think it's 3 of them are open to
I think
humans.
4 of them are.
4
and
of
then
them.
3
I can't
are
remember.
closed.
Okay, so 4 of them are open to visitors. Like, you can go and visit. The
Why
other
you would choose
3
to is beyond me.
Yeah, but you're allowed. The other 3 are closed, and one of them is Wormroost. And the only way that they can get in was with the unicorn horn is the key.
And
So.
pretty much the only known one, the only known
You
first
literally-
unicorn horn
The only one that
is on
we
Fablehaven.
know about is Fablehaven, of course. Thank you,
It just
Patton.
reminds me of
because
Coulter.
Patton gave them the horn.
That just reminds me of Coulter's zinger from a couple episodes ago because I was editing it where Kendra goes, "How rare are unicorn horns?" And Coulter just goes, "How rare are sting bulbs?"
I just realized Patton set it all up.
The man was
He got
not
the
playing.
horn, put it at Fablehaven, so if they ever needed to get the key, they could have the horn at Fablehaven to go to Wormroost.
Yeah, the man was not messing
I
around.
never thought of it like that before. I don't know why.
It makes because he probably used that horn to get in and out of Wormroost
Exactly.
itself.
He got the horn from who knows where. I don't freaking know.
So that means by the time he had, okay, hang on. By the
got
time
it,
that
you
we
got it.
meet him in book 3, he says he recently presented the centaurs with their most treasured talisman.
Oh my
the heart.
gosh, you're
So
right.
that means that he did everything at Wormroost prior to going to Lost Mesa and retrieving the chronometer. Well, that's a busy few years.
yeah,
'cause-
no, he literally.
He says after that though he'd already been
Okay,
to Wormroost,
no, but
right?
yeah, he says then, in order to avoid suspicions, I had to remove the chronometer. I needed to restore the guardians to the cave. When other business took me to Wormroost, one of the dragon sanctuaries, I swiped an egg and hatched it at Lost Mesa. I named the dragon Shalise and kept an eye on her during her infancy. Before long, the goblins took to her, and my assistance was no longer needed. Some years later, I donated the bones of Ranchkis to the museum.
How did he transport those out?
I don't know. Okay, so
Because I mean, the dragon was probably
he
huge.
first went to Lost Mesa, got
Yeah.
the chronometer,
Mhm.
took it back to Fablehaven, somewhere got the horn, went to Wormroost, and put the key to the other preserve in Wormroost, took the egg back to Lost Mesa, hatched it,
Uh-huh.
and took care of that. Eventually donated the bones of Ranchkis, and then,
After
came
that,
back to Fablehaven,
gives the horn.
gives the horn to the centaurs.
and then
And
puts
then
the
gets
chronometer
pulled back.
puts the chronometer in the safe.
Gets pulled forward in time
Mm-hmm.
to book 3.
Okay.
And now here we are in book 4.
Thank you for helping.
That is
Thank you for
so
sorting that.
complicated.
Holy crap, Patton.
You really have to
This is why we need a series.
This is why you have to look at books 3, 4, and 5 to try and figure out Patton's life. 'Cause it is so complicated. Yeah,
So
this is why
complex.
we need a series because this is a lot.
And also, it seems sometime in that time, because at this point, Lena and Patton are still newlyweds.
Yeah.
So while he's doing all of this,
So they've only been married maybe a year or 2 at most.
yeah, because they're still having their little spats
Yeah.
over the drapes. They're still. I imagine half their arguments is probably him about him going to.
Him being gone.
Yeah. Because I mean, how would it feel to be a newly mortal person who has no idea how to interact with humanity besides hey, now jump in the water, and just being now having to adjust to this entire mortal existence when Patton's out trying to save the world.
Yeah, I feel like in the Patton series, we could get a lot from Lena. We should get Lena's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
That would be really interesting.
Okay.
Okay. So, after that,
we
Kendra,
have- Yeah. Go.
finds Seth's note.
Well, actually, before that, I find it interesting. Like Kendra's like, so they kind of like detailed the team. So
Yeah.
the visit with Lost Mesa was terrifying for Kendra, and she's like, this is probably gonna be worse because Warren is
Definitely it's gonna be
specifically
worse.
Warren is specifically charged with her care, whereas the lieutenants of the Knights of the Dawn had wanted 5-person team. So yeah, the 5 are Dugan, Trask, Mara, Gavin, and Tanu.
Yeah.
Those are the 5. And we'll kind of get into later why those 5 were chosen, what they're...
I mean, we all know who they are. Like,
Yeah, but like, I mean, they talk a bit more about Mara and Gavin's
Yeah.
abilities, which are nice. And so, yeah, Kendra with Warren along to protect her. Theoretically, she and Warren would see no action, hiding out in the caretaker's home. But Kendra had already learned the hard way how such plans could go awry. Nobody knew much about Werroost. Supposedly, Patton was the only outsider who had ventured there in decades. Like, it's the same thing with Lost Mesa. Originally, the plan was Kendra gets them up to the top of the vault and then stays up there. She doesn't go in. That was the
Yeah.
plan. Make the plan.
Execute the plan. I was trying to think of how it started. I was trying to think of how that quote started.
Make the plan. Execute the plan. Expect the plan to go off the
rails.
rails. Throw away the plan. Leonard Snart. That quote is applicable in so many ways.
Dude, that quote became a meme on TikTok. So then Kendra is like, okay, well, I'll put on a brave face and pretend that I'm okay with going to a dragon sanctuary for the sake of Grandma and Grandpa's sanity. And then she goes upstairs to like say goodbye to Seth. And all she finds is a note and the breastplate. The
Newland Doran gave him.
what's it called?
Adamant.
Adamant. I was at adamantium because we were talking about Wolverine's claws or whatever last time.
Yes, we were. Last time this came out, we 100% went
Okay.
to Wolverine.
The note says, Dear Kendra, Merry Christmas. This breastplate is made of super strong metal called adamant. The satyrs gave it to me and I want you to wear it to Wormroost. It should be small enough to wear under your clothes, no problem. In fact, it was kind of small on me, so it'll probably fit better on you. I hope you'll forgive me for not saying goodbye in person. It is hard for me to get left out. I found a place in the woods where I go when I need time to think. It is safe and not too far, and I won't let the centaurs get me or anything. I've made some good friends at Fablehaven. They'll help me stop sulking. Tell Grandma and Grandpa not to worry. I may stay there for a little while. If they want, they can lock me in the dungeon when I get back.
So it goes.
Stay safe. Don't get eaten by dragons. Have fun. Love, Seth. So Kendra's like, what the frick? I might die and all you leave is a note. And a mithril breastplate, basically. She's like, Seth, why do you go off? Well, because she thinks he's in the woods. She's like, why do you just go off in the woods to sulk again, bro?
But at the same time, she's...
Like, she gets it.
She immediately... No, but at the same time, she immediately goes and shows the note to Grandpa, who, quote, he read it with a frown, then rubbed his eyes. He relayed the content of the message to the others and asked Warren and Tanu to go make sure that Seth hadn't tried to stow away in the car or the knapsack.
He knows how he thinks.
He knows.
He's like, are you really in the woods? Or are you just saying that?
No, the fact that it says specifically he rubbed his eyes, and I can just see it.
Yeah.
And I think he's
just like,
even like I can hear like, I thought we were making progress.
yeah, he's like, I still have to deal with this boy. I still have to deal with him.
You can't see it, guys, but we're all imitating. Like,
Yeah, we're doing
both
the rub in
imitating
the eyes
the eye
and
rub, like the bowed head and just the.
We all know what that looks like.
Do your own impression just to join us.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
so
then she shows the Coulter the breastplate, and he's like, yup, that's real.
keep it hidden.
It is
They would kill. People would
priceless.
kill.
Yeah.
All right, so they get going. We have this part, like, it kind of hammers home, like, just, like, how young and inexperienced Kendra is for me.
Yeah.
Because they get to the hotel, and Kendra is nervous about first seeing Gavin.
The butterflies. Like how she's like, I can relate to Verl now for how nervous he was.
Yeah.
I'm feeling that now talking to
Suddenly
Gavin.
less laughable.
Yeah.
No, but, like, it's just funny. Like, she goes into the lobby, and she goes and sits by, like, a fireplace that's roaring in the hearth. And next to the fire is a man with spectacles and a flannel shirt reading a book.
Yeah.
And and Kendra just keeps eyeing this man suspiciously because she's like, what if he's a plant? What if he's...
It's the trauma coming out.
What if he's a possible... 100% the trauma
Homegirl
coming
was
out.
just kidnapped.
But then, like, and she's like, she wishes Seth were here to check for any invisible enemies. In the corner is, like, the dwarf.
The last hotel
Goblin.
she was in
That
did
was
not
Goblin.
go well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so she starts talking with Gavin, who appears and goes over the kidnapping really quick. Like, I heard you were kidnapped.
Good stutter.
Thank you. High five. And then so she's like, word gets around, and she's like still like glancing at the man sitting next to the fire like suspiciously, and like Gavin's just like, calm down, it's the pilot. And it's just like, she just feels so naive and like,
I mean, she's like 15.
she's 15. Yeah. She just got kidnapped.
She has a reason to be paranoid.
She 100% has a reason to be paranoid, but
yeah,
it really feels like it hammers home like the naivete.
You remember how, even though she's done a lot in the past few years, she's still really young.
Mm-hmm. He's definitely toned down on the stutter though from book 3.
It's gotten better. Mm-hmm. I guess that's what confidence does. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. So now we're gonna do introductions for each 5. We already know Tanu, Potion Master. He's along to see if he can't help out with getting rare ingredients, stuff like that. Mara just went blank.
Hold on, I need to catch up.
Okay. Let's start with Trask. Trask went.
Oh wait. Oh, does Trask go first?
Yeah, Trask goes first. He's like, okay. He wants everybody to kind of air out like who they are. Like, what they can do because...
And the reason that he wants to do it is because he's like, I'm sick of hiding behind masks. That was what the Sphinx did. He was trying to keep everything secret so that there could be secrets within the Knights helping the society. So that's why he wants to, like, have everything out in the open so they can be more open and not like how the Knights used to be when the Sphinx was leading.
Mm-hmm. So he comes out. He's like, all right, I'm Trask. I have some skills... he's a lieutenant. Trask is a lieutenant, right? Yeah.
I think so.
Either that or he's high up.
Yeah.
And so he also talks about how he is the lead. He's considered the lead dragon tamer for the Knights of the Dawn. He's like, I'm not in the same league as Chuck Rose was, and I don't have the same talent, but I am one of the more experienced. Yep, he's one of the 4 lieutenants. He says that. He has a long history as a detective, which is why he was involved in Kendra's case of dying. But he's got a lot of skills, but he's not a true dragon tamer. He just barely keeps it together. And he has spent time at the 4 dragon sanctuaries. And he also has 6 arrows tipped with adamant, which would help you against other things that you might find at Wormroost, but not specifically against dragons. Like, that's like one of the main things they harp on here is like, do not get in the fight with a dragon. So then next is Dugan. He's not a dragon tamer, but he's a seasoned adventurer, mountaineer, and survivalist.
He's one of the lieutenants, as we already knew.
And also reaffirming Trask is the leader. Dugan's here to support. Mm-hmm. Tanu. Tanu Gatoa. Call me Tanu. Potion Master. He's been with the Knights for almost 20 years, so I'm putting him like late 30s, early 40s.
Yeah.
Again, he's hoping to get some ingredients.
Yeah, because...
He's also a healer. Yeah.
With his potions, yeah. And then it's Kendra's turn, and she's like, I've only been a knight for a few months. She says that she's very kind, and she's like, well, I can say that now because she knows the Sphinx knows it, so might as well let her allies know. And Gavin and Mara stare at her in astonishment. So she's like, I can see in the dark, command fairies, understand just about any language related to Sylvian, the fairy language. Distractor spells don't work on me, which is the biggest reason why she's going, so that she can get them to the gate.
And also read any clues.
Yeah. And then we have Warren and his introduction, which I'm just going to read because
do
it's
it,
fantastic.
Please.
Warren slapped his hands together. I'm Warren Burgess, a great-great-nephew of the legendary and somewhat infamous Patton Burgess. That's a nice... okay.
We know who
that
Patton's
is a very,
descendant is.
very nice confirmation because I was thinking great-great-great-nephew, so like great-great-nephew, or maybe. Mm-hmm. I'd find my notes about it, but that's nice to have. Okay. The legendary and somewhat infamous Patton Burgess. I'm also a Scorpio who enjoys badminton, snorkeling, and Chinese checkers. He paused for laughter, but only earned a couple of smiles. I'm Kendra's second cousin. I've worked with the Knights for about 10 years, part of which I spent in a catatonic state, or stupor, at Fablehaven. I'm here to protect Kendra. We brought some useful items, including a knapsack which contains a fairly spacious extra-dimensional storage room. We loaded the knapsack with supplies, blah, blah, blah. You're welcome to use it if you want. Claims to fame? I once broke half my bones in my body slaying a giant two-headed panther.
Remember?
It's so Warren.
It's so Warren.
It's so Warren.
But, like, he and Seth just have such the same energy. Like, remember when we were talking about, I think you made a short about it, where, like, it was
everyone say something and introduce yourself.
And Seth would be like, I once got eaten by a demon and pooped out.
Yeah. We did talk about that. This is what we were referencing.
If Seth were here, he either says that or something to do with stealing the horns from the centaurs or something to those effects.
Yeah, Seth and Kendra have a lot of claims to fame.
Yes, indeed. I was once turned into a weird, misshapen, mutated walrus by fairies because reasons.
Yeah.
We don't talk about that.
We've moved on. Yeah. I love just Warren. He's like, I'm a Scorpio who loves badminton.
The man is here to take care of business, and he's not going to apologize about how we do it.
So funny. He's just trying to lighten the mood, you know? Mm-hmm. He copes with jokes, so he's like, I got to crack some jokes, because what else am I going to do?
Because this is the third artifact I'm going after, and I'm not traumatized at all. Okay, so, and then Mara goes, and so she's Mara Tamares. I was about to inherit the stewardship of the Lost Mesa Preserve when it was overthrown and my mother was killed. A dragon played the key role in the tragedy, as did a spy from the Society. I've always had an unusual connection to wild animals. I'm a skilled tracker and wind watcher. Some say I have the potential to become a dragon tamer.
The frick is a wind watcher? Is
It
that something you do with
familiar.
Native American, like Navajo? I'm not quite sure.
Hang on.
Or is it something like wind watcher?
But, yeah.
I don't know. If anyone has any knowledge of
It's
that,
also wind
it would be
watcher, not
very
wind
interesting.
talker.
Yeah, it's wind watcher.
Yeah, if I had to guess, it kind of is similar to how she's able to keep her
Her bearings.
orientation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which honestly,
She could track a falcon on a
feels,
cloudy day.
it
She
feels
could find
a little.
you.
It feels a little stereotypical of like the Native American knows where it's like Sacagawea type, weird stereotype.
Yeah.
It's a little like
A little on the nose.
it's a little yeah. It's not the best, but Mara
At the
is
same
very
time,
capable.
At the same time, that
and
is
like in book 3, he does a lot of great representation of with like Lost Mesa. So I feel like
at the same time, like, yeah, living at Lost Mesa, she would have learned those skills.
yeah. So like I feel like he does back it up, so it's not so bad.
Yeah. Like
Something
if this was our
I will
first
say,
if this was our first introduction to her, it would feel
true. Yeah, that's true. I will say something I do love about Brandon Mull is that he gives representation to a lot of cultures that like don't really get representation, especially in fantasy books, like Native American, like Samoan, or like Polynesian, like Tanu, or like in Dragon Watch, they go to like basically Polynesian islands, which is awesome because like I have a little Polynesian culture in my ancestry, so like I really appreciate stuff like that. Or, you know, he does more like Latin American or something. Like, I just love it.
Okay. So yeah, Mara's backstory, great.
Okay. So now they talk to Gavin. He's, you know,
A little bit of he's a bit more than we thought. He's a dragon brother, not just talented dragon
not
tamer.
just the son of Chuck Rose. And that
Yeah.
means that he's like accepted basically as like a dragon or whatever.
Yeah. I like
know.
that. I like the comparison. So basically, I'm the dragon version of fairy kind.
Yeah. It is a good way to put it.
Yeah.
And he says, my status as a dragon brother affects me physically. I'm a little stronger and faster than I look.
Faster.
I just had to do the stutter.
It was very well done.
Thank you.
Specifically, you only put in one extra F, just like it has in the book. It was very
that's
impressive.
how it is in the book.
Yeah,
So
I know. It was well executed.
I was reading it.
Yeah, so he kept that one similar to Kendra, kept it secret, but they're pretty sure the
Yeah.
Sphinx knows, so
Yeah.
he knows basics.
So then they started talking about dragons. They're highly intelligent, very ancient creatures. No,
Yeah.
dragons are the same. They have different breath weapons, capabilities, you know.
Honestly, one of my favorite parts of these books.
It's so cool.
So
The breath
intriguing.
weapons are so cool.
And also, just like, the different kind. Like we talked earlier about, like Gavin was mentioning different kinds of spiders. The fact there was a spider dragon, hate that, but it's really cool concept with like the different
nightmare.
types.
Okay, yes.
Because Shalice
So
was like
cool.
bronze and yeah, all that jazz.
It's one of the coolest things about when they're in Wormroost, all the different dragons that we see. So excited for that.
Yeah.
And then the fear, the paralyzing fear. Sorry.
I found it very interesting because slight spoilers for Five Kingdoms.
Okay, spoiler warning for Five Kingdoms.
It's very, very basic.
Which book?
It's book 4.
That's
it's
pretty
when
far in.
Cole is talking with Romaro. He uses the same metaphor about like the way that Romaro sees humans is the same way that
The rats
dragons
came into your house and took over.
Yeah, and it's the same
Okay.
metaphor that Gavin uses for dragons, where they see you as mice. If you can talk, they see you as very intriguing talking mice.
Yeah.
A pure intelligence. It's like the same way Romaro was describing like humanity. Like all of you guys are mice. Cole, you're a very interesting mouse. I'm still going to take the house back, but I will. I kind of want to keep you as a pet. Like it's the same. Sorry,
It's a very similar metaphor he uses in
metaphor.
a lot of his books. Honestly,
I mean, it's very
apt metaphor.
It's very
It
apt
works.
metaphor. It works very well. I just found it interesting that there was a repeated metaphor there. So
Yeah, you just had to slide in Five Kingdoms. Just kidding. Jessica's shrugging and smiling, like, "Yeah, you got me."
hey, it was relevant.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, it wasn't really a huge spoiler. It was just like there's a part of the conversation that has very similar threads.
But you can still put the spoiler warning in.
Yeah.
Because you said his name.
Um,
Anyway, end of spoiler
name,
for
say my-
Five Kingdoms. Come back. Thank you. I just like to put that so that people know when to come back.
I appreciate that. Okay, so yeah, basically act cute, act tough. Play the role of a precocious mouse
Okay.
that no human would kill, and that's usually what will help you slip by through a dragon.
Yeah, and then they're like, dragon sanctuaries are another level, you know? Like, they made them to put the more dangerous creatures, such as dragons, where they couldn't be held in just like a regular preserve like Fablehaven. And then they said, we'll have more than dragons to contend with. These sanctuaries were founded as a home for creatures too large and powerful to cohabit with the beings at the more traditional preserves, like I just said. Let us know about Wormroost. Who can say what we might encounter? Gavin, do you have any words of advice? We're going to be in there armed, but it's not going to do much. It's more avoidance is our best tactic.
Avoidance for dragons. The weapons will work with like the lower class
Yeah.
monsters and creatures, but like dragons talk cute.
I will say, like, a paragraph down from that where he says, like, humans can't stand against dragons. And then he says, once upon a time, there were dragon slayers. That time is long gone. When he said once upon a time there were dragon slayers, I was like, cue the music and the narrator that tells the legend of dragon slayers. You know, it's just like, long ago, there were dragon slayers. And then, I don't know. It just feels like
In a
line.
time of myth and a land of magic.
Exactly, that's what it feels like. That line is just like, long ago, there were dragon slayers. It's just funny.
That's accurate though. Wait, was that that's what it was. It was the Merlin intro. That's what I just pulled.
Oh my gosh. That's what you were doing?
Yes! In a time of myth and a land of magic, one man stands between. I can't remember the rest of it, but it's like that specific.
Of course it was Merlin.
Of course it's Merlin. Love
Okay.
that show.
Anyway, so then we go to Seth, who has, you guessed it, stowed away in the knapsack.
Is anybody surprised, really?
No. No one should be surprised.
And is anybody really surprised by the fact that Warren encouraged him?
Yeah. He said, my clone, you must do what I would do. I think I said that last time. I think I called him his clone last time. It works so well.
Honestly,
We talk about it literally almost every episode because it's
so
accurate. True. It's so true. Especially in these later books. It's so true.
I want to see more from Dale's perspective of like just dealing with Seth, especially when Warren was in like his catatonic state, where like he's just
It's like you have to write another.
I need to write one
You
because
write it.
Dale just being like he had to have been overly protective of Seth just because he reminded him so much of Warren. I need to see that. I need to write it.
It probably gave him a lot of stress too. He's
100%.
This kid is just like my younger brother.
100%. He's 100% thinking
From the
about
second
that.
he,
when
like-
he's lugging him through the wheelbarrow to with the walrus body.
Did we?
I don't think we talked about
I
this.
don't
We
think we
should have,
did.
but like
We
when
should
he's
have.
like tugging him through and just being like,
He's probably having flashbacks of some time he helped Warren get out of a mess.
100%, and like when Seth gets turned back human and like he's asking, "Oh man, can I get a real ride back in the wheelbarrow?" And Dale's like, "No, you should be giving
You
me a
should
ride
be
back."
giving me
That
a
is so
ride.
brother coded. That is
Yeah.
so. He must have gone home and cried for like an hour because that's something he would have said to Warren, and it's something Warren would have said. 100%. I'm calling it right
Oh
now.
my gosh.
Now I'm sad. My goodness.
Okay,
But
well,
then, of
you
course,
did that to yourself.
I did. I'm sorry. Okay, like it could. There's some fix that they do like 5 times. This happened, and then 1 time, like it could be like 5 times. Dale saw Seth as Warren, and 1 time he saw Warren. I don't know, something like that. I feel like it could happen.
Oh, like sometimes people write fan fictions where it's like
Like with that format,
5 times. What?
it's like 5 times. Like 5 times someone's tried to say "I love you," and then 1 time they actually said it.
Oh,
Like that
okay,
kind of
okay.
format. And I actually really like those
Interesting.
ones. They're really cute. But like I can totally see some like 5 times Seth acted like Warren, and then 1 time that Warren acted like Seth or something
Yeah.
like that. I feel like that could be a fun little effect.
Yeah. So it talks about how Warren, like, you know, kind of gave him the little nudge he needed to get him to stow away.
He's like, "How bad do you want to do it?"
After
Do
the 7
what?
yeah, after the 7 members of the family had announced the rest of after 7 members of the team had been announced, the rest of his family, Seth had retired to his room to think and found Warren waiting, spinning a basketball on the tip of his finger. "Shame you won't be coming," Warren said, eyes on the ball. "I'm used to it," Seth replied. "I always miss the coolest stuff." "Think fast," Warren said, chucking the ball at him. Seth caught it and tossed it back briskly. "How bad do you want to stow away?" the man asked.
Stow away.
Warren grinned. "Don't bother with the innocent routine. I can spot a fake innocence a mile away. Must be
He's the
pretty
master.
must be pretty tempting when you think about that knapsack. We'll have to bring it for supplies, of course. Lots of room in there. Lots of places to hide."
You're a jerk, Seth said.
"Take it easy. I'm not here to rub it in. I kind of hope you do it."
What?
Warren stood, dribbling the basketball between his legs. "I think you're right. You've got unusual abilities that could come in handy. If you hadn't pulled the nail from the Revenant, I'd still be a mute albino. If you hadn't been at the old manor when we went to retrieve the chronometer, we would never have found Patton, and Fablehaven would have fallen. I'm a believer, Seth. I'm not here to make you go, but if you want to go, I'm not going to discourage you. In fact, tomorrow afternoon, I'll leave the knapsack in the backseat of the SUV, and I'll make sure a door is unlocked."
This is some kind of trick. Grandpa put you up to this. It's a trap.
"No trick, I swear. We can't afford to blow it at Wormroost. The Sphinx has the Oculus. We can't let him have the translocator. Think what would happen if the Sphinx could see anywhere and go anywhere. What will prevent him from grabbing all of the artifacts? How long will it be before Zyzzyx opens and none of us have anywhere to hide? Like it or not, we're past playing it safe. If you want to be at Wormroost, I'd rather have you be there than sitting idle at Fablehaven." That conversation had been all it took to convince Seth. So he did what he did, stowed away, and now we're here with him in the knapsack.
And he hides in a little he's hiding in a
Crate.
barrel underneath rugs
Yeah.
so that even when Tanu came and checked per Grandpa's orders to make sure after they find the note that he's not stowing away, he opens the crate, sees the
carpet,
rugs,
yeah.
and puts it back down. So
So
he was thorough.
So
Seth was just 1 step ahead.
Seth won the game of hide and seek.
Yeah, so he even gets his own stash of food,
That was really smart.
honestly, so that none of the others
So no one
notice
realizes.
that
Yeah.
somebody's poaching. But of course, somebody else is poaching.
Yeah.
And this is when we meet Bubda,
Bubda.
the Yahtzee playing troll.
I freaking love Bubda.
So yeah, so basically a hermit troll has been staying in the knapsack. We're gonna go over this a little quickly.
Yeah.
And he tolerates Seth because Seth speaks Dougish. Is that what it is?
Yeah, he speaks Dougish.
Because he's a
shadow charmer, so he can speak
and
other
so
languages.
Bubda started sneaking into Seth's supplies because Seth was eating out of those and he was also stowing away. And so Bubda figured it was free game.
He's like, yeah, I can.
And then
eat from
Seth's
the
like,
same
hang
thing
on,
you do."
who the heck are you?
Yeah, he's like, what is going on? Who are you? Are you dangerous? He's
And he's like, nah, I'm just chilling.
like, I have half a mind to go tell on you that you're here. And Bubda's like, well, then they'll know you're here. Like,
worth it.
yeah.
Which, I mean, kudos to Seth. He's like,
True.
I will happily blow my cover if it's to get rid of you if you're a danger to us.
Yeah.
Which, respect to you, sir.
He's not. Bubda
Yeah,
is
he's
harmless,
just chilling.
thankfully.
He's chilling. So, yeah. Yeah, now we finally made it. So that's pretty much it, is Seth kind of getting to know Bubda.
Yeah.
And also nodding to Mendigo, who is sitting in the corner. Hey, if he tries to approach me and hurt me, take care of him.
Yeah, take him down. And Mendigo's like, noted.
Gotcha.
In his, nonverbal way.
All right, moving on to chapter 17. After how long?
Hour and 34 minutes.
Gosh.
Have fun editing this. Okay, we have
luck.
to hurry. We
Yeah,
got
we
a
do.
lot. Okay, so basically, they're in a helicopter, and the guy, what's his name? Aaron? Is
Aaron
like
Stone.
flying him. And Kendra's like, okay, you got to keep going this way, bro. And he's like,
To the
Usually,
right, to the right, to the right,
I'm
to
fine
the right.
with distractor spells. He's like, apparently you should be able to see mountains that are like really big.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny because I'm looking at this mountain right now.
Oh, yeah. There's a mountain effigy in our background in where we're recording right now. It's very beautiful.
Anyway,
Very geometric.
and Kendra's like, yeah, I see the mountains, and she's like guiding
They're
him.
right there, sir.
There's like a specific clearing that they have to land in, and so she guides him to it. And they definitely needed Kendra because he would not have been able to find it on his own.
I just find it funny, like, however, like, throughout this conversation, it's like, go right.
She's like,
Continues talking about stuff. Go right.
go right,
Continues. Go right.
keep going right, yeah.
So they finally get there, and they have to trudge up to the gate, which is several miles through, like, couple feet of snow.
yeah.
Seth definitely got the better end of this deal.
Yeah,
Because
that-
Kendra's having to lug up here, and as everybody's starting to get more and more, like, affected by the distractor spell,
it's getting
and
harder and harder.
it's getting harder and harder
And
to
like,
keep them on
what
track.
they did have the idea, they were like, what if we just got in the knapsack and then Kendra just carried us to the gate? And they were like, we could do that, but that would be dangerous for Kendra because we don't know what's out here. So I'd rather have us all be out here and ready. I think that was Warren that said that. So yeah, they're all like tied together. It's like, follow the leader, not your instincts, because all of their instincts are screaming, get
Go
away.
Yeah, even Mara, who, like, has very good orientation.
Usually has good instincts, yeah.
Good instincts. She's like we
She's
sense
like-
the danger. Like, the only
yeah.
reason Warren and Tanu are eventually able to be like, nope, just close your eyes. And, like, Tanu, like, digs his heels in when they
Yeah,
start
Tanu's
dragging
like-
Kendra backwards.
Yeah, he's like,
Where,
we need
like,
to stop.
They just trust her so much because, I mean, she saved their lives how many times at this point?
Yeah, they know to trust Kendra.
They know to trust Kendra, and so they dig their heels in, literally in Tanu's case,
Yeah.
and they manage to get up to the gate, and Kendra gets them through, and they're all just like, dang, that sucked.
And then right after they get through the gate comes a dragon.
Hello.
Camerot.
Yep. So the dragon, Camerot, had a head like a giant lion with red gold fur and a crimson mane. 8 sets of legs supported the scaly body, the large feet each a hybrid of dragon claw and lion paw. The dragon stood half again taller than Trask and stretched longer than 2 school buses.
Wow.
Visitors, the dragon purred in a rich, interested voice. We seldom have visitors. This is a dangerous domain. I prevent the unworthy from entering. Are any of you capable of speech? Because, again, you don't even have to meet their eyes. Just their presence.
Their presence,
It's just
yeah.
like the Revenant.
Yeah.
Freezes you.
So Gavin can talk, Trask can talk, and Mara can talk. And then after a second, Kendra can talk, but she can't move like the others.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, 4 out of 7 have some semblance of control. 1 has true self-possession because Gavin's looking him in the eye.
Yeah, Gavin can do it.
And then Mara and Trask move forward to stand by Gavin, but Kendra cannot move.
Yeah,
So it's interesting. Her mind is free, but her body is
isn't.
frozen.
Yeah,
So yeah.
which is what she did like before with Shalice. She was able to talk to Shalice, but she couldn't really like move
Until
on
Gavin
her own.
distracted her.
Yeah,
And then I like as well 3. Why not the 4th? Because Cameron's like, hey, that's kind of weird. Usually, if it's all an all or nothing kind of deal. And he says, "Oh, I see. Although she harbors a strange energy, she is not a true dragon speaker." So it's really her very kind abilities that are keeping her mind free. Like how, hang on, is there another example of this? It's kind of like how her mind remains unaffected by most things. No mind control. So that's why distractor spells won't work. Her mind remains,
and that's
free,
why
even,
she
like,
can talk
fear.
to dragons.
So emotions work.
Yeah.
Mind control doesn't work. So that's why she can't move, because the fear is paralyzing.
And
her.
then emotions don't work on Seth, but then
which is why he doesn't feel the fear.
But his mind gets foggy.
Yeah,
which is what he talks about later.
Yeah, we love that.
Yeah.
We love. So yeah,
and so they ask for audience with Agid, and then I love this part. Camerot prowled forward and sniffed Warren, then took a whiff of the knapsack. More in there than one might suspect, but nothing too alarming. You know, if one of them heard that, they would be like, "Oh, you know, he senses the magic of the knapsack."
Yeah,
but he's actually sensing Seth.
I feel like he would. I don't know. With Seth being a shadow charming, the nothing too alarming comment would be like, shadow charmers are traditionally not friendly people.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe he's just like,
I guess we don't know
he's just
how much he senses. Yeah, I was like, does he just sense his age?
Yeah.
Does he sense his age or like what? I don't know.
So yeah, and then also revealed one of the breath weapons that Camerot has is Truth Serum. So he breathes on Trask and Mara. He's like,
what are you doing here?
What are we really doing here? Like, be honest with me. And thankfully, it's still sufficiently whatchamacallit, cryptic. Like, we seek the key to a distant vault, and like when the dragon asks, "What else do you want to hope to accomplish?" We want the key and we want to survive.
We want to survive.
Optimal answers, honestly.
Yeah,
like we're not here to steal. We're not. Well, I guess unless you count the key as stealing, but like we want to survive. We want the key, and then we're gonna get out. That's it. We're not here to steal dragon eggs. We're not here to poach ingredients. We just want to live.
We want what we came here for, and we want to live. Please. That's good.
Camerot's like, yeah, okay, yeah, that tracks.
Like, okay, you can go have your audience with Agid.
So yeah, they get up to the keep and they meet some creatures.
A minotaur. And then it says, like, to the left stood a creature with, like a centaur, but with the body of a moose, which we were kind of talking about the other day, where it's like...
What other?
They're different, like...
Quadrupedal? That's a word, yeah. Four-legged.
I guess that's what it would be. I don't know.
So there would probably be another name for it than
I think,
centaur.
I want to say it's like an alcitar or something like that.
Ooh, that does sound
I've
familiar.
heard that name, and I want to say that's like an elk or a moose.
Yeah, I want to say you're right.
I think it's like an alcitar. I swear that's one of the names. Anyway.
And then on the right, a thin, hairless woman with 4 arms and skin like a snake tested the air with her slender tongue. So, yeah. I don't know. She kind of gives me lizard person vibes.
Yeah.
So they get to, it's called Blackwell Keep.
Yes.
And they go and they, oh, you're right, Alcitar. The moose body.
That is why
the Alcitar will assist you, the moose bodied centaur. Well done. I'm impressed.
Go.
Okay. All right. So they go and meet Agid, who immediately knows what's up. He's like, you seek the key deposited here by Patton Burgess.
Yeah. He's like, let's just get down to business.
We not messing around. I'm already, like, he's
Agid
already
doesn't
old.
mess around.
Like,
he's like, I'm too old for this.
He's a plump elderly man whose flowing gray beard reached his lap. He's like, I'm too old for this. We just getting down to business.
Also, they interrupted, like, his dinner or whatever.
Yeah.
A lunch or something.
So, initially, I'm just going to skip this a little bit.
Yeah.
Agid acts, especially in the presence of his servants or assistants, aides.
Yeah.
He acts like Patton was a friend to the sanctuary until he stole a dragon egg. And he eventually died. I put air quotes around said died word, because that was eventually we find out when he talks to Kendra one-on-one. He still likes Patton, but he has to keep up appearances because stealing a dragon egg is bad.
Very bad.
Who we now know became Shalice, which we went over earlier.
Yeah, we did.
In great detail. But then we have So Patton was allegedly killed and buried as a way to appease the dragons of Wormroost,
Yeah.
who think that is his actual grave.
Yeah. And so he knows that, like, also, well, the reason that he, like, singles out Kendra is because Patton told Agid that Kendra would come.
Most likely.
And so he's like, I'll only talk to the girl. And he's like, okay, I know what you're here. Patton told me that there's, like, a secret message in his fake grave and, like, that you're here after the key. Like, he knows a lot more than he lets on.
I also love how before, like, he gets her alone, Warren's like, no, I stay with her at all times.
Yeah. Protective Warren.
Who is still traumatized by the fact that he watched her die.
Exactly.
He's like, I will not let you. Until finally, Agid's like, when Kendra's like, it's okay, I'll talk with him. Agid's like, okay, fine. The girl's, quote, gallant protector, end quote, can wait outside this hall for her. So I like that we recognize that Warren is trying to take care of his cuz. So yeah. I like the image we get as well. There's a nice illustration of them sitting together.
I've never actually looked at this.
They talk about her being very kind, about how he is a true wizard, and that all wizards were originally dragons.
Yeah.
Because apparently all dragons can take on human avatars.
Yes.
In a transformation that is so, like, complete and intricate that even other dragons cannot tell when a dragon is in human form that they are a dragon. They can't identify, is what it says. But then some dragons then decide to take upon that human form permanently.
Yeah.
To then increase their magical abilities.
And that is what a true wizard is. It's when a dragon becomes a human forever and becomes a wizard.
Because of their increase in magic.
It's very cool lore.
Indeed. But also, dragons and wizards have some rocky relationships.
Well, it's because all wizards used to be dragons, and dragons are like, why would you, like, basically betray your life as a dragon to become
a lesser being?
Yeah, not quite a human, but like an immortal human. Anyway, not have the form of a dragon anymore.
Agid's been alive for thousands of years. And we find out later that he was one of the fundamental,
he helped
the initial
the
architects
dragon,
of
the demon
Zyzzyx.
prison. Yeah.
Yeah, and so, but also because, like humans, dragons have, like, they have frenemies and they have enemies. And so when somebody becomes a wizard and their magical powers get a boost, they're going to then go, oh, now I can mess up the guy who messed with me. And so they go after dragons. And so some of the most, like, successful dragon slayers were wizards. Yeah. And from them, humanity learned. So the wizards were really key parts of getting the dragons into the sanctuaries. So there's kind of some bitterness there.
There's a lot of bad blood between dragons and wizards.
Now we got bad blood.
Exactly.
Used to be bad love.
You forgive, you forget, but you never let it go. Band-aids don't fix bullet holes. Okay. Yeah, I was hoping you'd do that.
I got you, girl. I got you.
Wearing my Taylor Swift sweatshirt.
It's very nice.
It is. It's also very cozy. Anyway.
So yeah,
he's like, you can go about what you need to do. He also says that, like, people who visit can only stay the first night and the last night. Mm-hmm. So Kendra's plan of staying with the caretaker is not going to work.
Predictably.
Again, because, well, you know, they actually do need her later anyway, so.
Of course they do.
So,
of course they need her, even as we find out, just to get to the key, because as we find out that night, they go out to dig out the grave. I'm just going to skip a little bit ahead.
Yeah.
Whatever is left we can talk about later. Where did my brain just go? They go up to dig up the grave in the next chapter, which is called Blackwell Keep, chapter 18. And so as they're digging it up, they find the markings, and we find out that the key itself is hidden in the dragon temple, right? That's what it is? I'm trying to skip ahead.
Yes.
Is in the dragon temple. It's an iron egg about the size of a pineapple with the top half crowned with protuberances, hidden inside the treasury of the secret dragon temple alongside other items sacred to the dragons. Access is heavily guarded. Success is unlikely. The fact that Patton got in there. I cannot.
I don't even know how we managed that.
I cannot. Retrieve no extra items. Ignore the gauntlets. Enmity with the dragons is no minor concern. Tell no dragon you seek the temple, including Agate. Directions to the temple can be had at the Fairy Queen Shrine near Splitvale Falls.
So yeah, they need Kendra again.
Just to get to the shrine.
And the thing is, Patton knew that Kendra would be with them. That's why he told Agate to look for her.
And also probably why he hid it at the Fairy Shrine.
Exactly, because he knew he could trust Kendra
to get there.
And trust her with the information that's there.
And also such a G move to hide instructions to a place that he knows. Because, like, could he probably have told them, hey, just go straight to the Dragon Temple? But he knows Agate's not, like, maybe not 100% trustworthy. But at the very least, he knows that if they start heading out directly towards the Dragon Temple, someone in the castle is gonna realize that. And as Agate says, a lot of the people in the keep are
spies for the dragons.
So if they find out,
so it's better. Done. It's better that they're trying to get to the
sanctuary,
Fairy Shrine,
yeah,
instead of going directly, like you said,
to the temple.
Yeah.
Seriously. Patton is
so
3D chess, and we're all playing checkers.
Honestly, Patton is so freaking good at this. Obviously, that's why he survived and why he was the world's greatest adventurer. Anyway.
And of course, while this is happening, while they're out there digging, Seth is playing Yahtzee.
Yeah,
with Bubda.
This becomes a bit where, out of boredom, Seth looks around and he finds an old Yahtzee game. And Bubda immediately is like, what are you doing? Oh, what is this? And then he teaches him. And then Bubda loves Yahtzee.
Quote, Bubda's reluctant curiosity had mushroomed into a Yahtzee marathon.
It becomes literally his obsession. Mm-hmm. He loves Yahtzee, and he loves when he wins, and he loves to gloat and do a victory dance. And
because according to Seth,
funny.
Which Seth now regrets telling him, every Yahtzee deserved a victory dance.
Yeah.
So,
while they're playing Yahtzee, Warren comes down.
Really scaring the crap out of them.
Yeah.
Causing Seth to shade walk.
Seth is like, oh, frick, I got too caught up in the Yahtzee.
Got too caught up in the competition.
Yeah. And so Warren gives a little bit of an update to Seth and is like, we're in the keep, but we'll leave tomorrow. Kendra's out with Trask and Gavin getting the clue from Patton and stuff. And he's like, and Seth's like, should I just come out now? And Warren's like, no, I think we should still hold you in reserve for now. I think it would cause a lot of friction if you came out right now. So we're just going to wait until there's an emergency. And then if there's an emergency, you'll be forgiven instead of
emergency.
Paging Dr. Pete. Oh my gosh. Okay.
I'm sorry.
What are our brains today?
God, it's too early for this. Is it after noon? Yes.
It's noon.
Okay, so they find, Warren and Seth chat, they get the clue. And then, even though Warren said, stay put after he leaves,
before that.
Where are you at?
Whatever you do, Seth said around a chewy mouthful, try not to leave me down here too long. You can only play a certain amount of Yahtzee games in a row before you become a complete unit. I'm starting over. Whatever you do, Seth said around a chewy mouthful, try not to leave me down here too long. You can only play a certain amount of Yahtzee games in a row before you become a lunatic.
That's what I was quoting earlier.
Keep that in mind.
I was like, so much Yahtzee.
So much Yahtzee. Yeah.
I'm really glad they get them out so quickly.
Cut this out. I literally commented well, Warren would know about too many Yahtzee games making you crazy.
Well, Warren will know.
Yeah, true.
Okay,
So then Seth is on his Chamber of Secrets arc again and hears voices and follows them.
Because that's not a bad idea.
He keeps doing it.
And he finds the namesake of Blackwell Keep, the Deep Well, which is now inhabited by a bunch of whispering fiends that are like, free us, the chain,
yeah, so basically it's like a well full of shades and
it's their Hall of Dread.
Revenants and their Hall of Dread, but they're all in the same place. The only way that they can get out is if you lower the chain. And so they're all like, give me the chain, we will serve you, we will destroy your enemies, all
and
that bull
probably
crap.
then destroy the preserve, but we won't do that first.
And then Seth is
the last thing on the agenda.
Seth is talking to them. He's like, I feel like if I let you out, you're going to come up and eat me.
He's learning.
And then a voice behind him says, "You know what? That's not far from the truth." And who's it? Agad.
And I love after, because Agad startles Seth.
Yeah.
So he drops his flashlight. It falls into the well.
Yeah.
And so he sees the light falling. It never hits the bottom. You never hear it hit the bottom. It never like stops. The light just fades.
You're like, okay, yeah, don't fall in.
Do not. So yeah. Agad kind of gives a quick,
So basically, like, Agad left the way open to the deep well because he heard kind of about Seth from Camerot that there was another person in the knapsack.
But also Patton mentioned.
And also Patton, he's like,
hey,
where there's Kendra, there's Seth.
Where you find one, the other shall not be far behind.
Yes.
Just so you know.
He's like, Seth will not be left out.
But interestingly enough, Agad's like, oh, but he did not mention that you were a shadow charmer. And Seth's like, yeah, it's new.
Yeah, recent occurrence.
So yeah, and interesting enough, like Seth's like, so maybe if this is like the most dangerous place to keep, maybe you shouldn't leave the door unlocked.
Yeah.
Agad's like, I was testing you, and also anybody else would be paralyzed with fear long before they got to this point, so we're fine.
Yeah.
Do you hear that?
Yep.
Is it the air?
It is the air. Okay, if you hear that air noise, it is
That's really loud.
the vent that just turned on. I don't know why.
That's really, really loud.
It is really loud. I apologize, but we don't have any control over that.
Do you want to try lowering the sensitivity of the mics?
A little better.
I think it's a little better. We can just talk louder.
We just have to talk louder, yeah.
Yeah, we'll just talk louder.
Okay, sorry if our audio just got worse. The vent just turned on and started
It is
being really loud.
Really
so,
loud.
Yeah,
I'm
we're
honestly kind of impressed.
we'll just push through. Okay.
Are you getting
so,
cold? Like, it's going to be blasting right on you.
Feels good, honestly.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I'll take it.
So, yeah,
Um,
Agad and Seth are talking.
I like this little bit. Why do you have a chain in the first place?
Yeah.
The question earned a reluctant smile.
Oh,
If
it's called
one-
it's called the Blackwell. We kept saying the
Oh, it is
Deepwell.
Blackwell? Oh.
'Cause it's Blackwell
What's
Keep.
Deepwell? Deepwell's Five Kingdoms.
Oh my gosh! Of course it is. I was like, you said Deepwell, and I was like, isn't it Blackwell? But you were talking. I was like, I'll
No,
just go with it.
Deepwell is Five Kingdoms. It's in the shadow. It's in the.
I
it's in
know.
the Shadowlands.
I know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Blackwell because it's called Blackwell Keep. I was like, I swear it's called Blackwell. But I was like,
I
she's
thought they were
talking. I'm just not
close
going to interrupt her.
Okay, so I appreciate that. So Seth asks, why do you have a chain in the first place? The question earned a reluctant smile. If one knows how to manage them, to guide them, to liberate them temporarily and under strict conditions, the inhabitants of the Blackwell have their uses. But even I would employ them only as an absolute last resort. In the future, you might want to lock the door. So yeah. Seth's like, could I learn to control these things? Seth's like, maybe, but should you? No.
Yeah.
Like, so Seth, Agad, oh, this part's cute.
Subtle foreshadowing.
Yeah, subtle foreshadowing. We're gonna cut that.
Yeah.
Seth's like, so Agad was like, I really wanted to just like talk to you and learn about you. That's why I like left this open so we could have this conversation. And Seth's like, okay, that's great, but could you not tell the others about me being here? Most of them don't know, and I'm the reserve. I'm hiding out for emergencies.
Also, they already think I'm an idiot.
And then Agad kind of got a savage moment here. To cause the emergencies or repair them. Presumably your friends would be cross if they knew you came to the Blackwell. They already think I'm an idiot. Agad coughed into his fist. Patton did not share that opinion. He recognized a lot of himself in you. But that worried him because of how many times he narrowly avoided a premature death.
Proud and worried.
Seth's walking with a pep in his step after that.
Yeah.
I'm saying right now.
To be
he's like,
Patton saw himself in me?
you gotta feel a little, okay.
He's like, I love Patton. Yeah.
And so, but then Agad gives him some good advice. You strike me, most Shadewalkers are evil to the core. You strike me as quite the opposite. Take care. Dragon sanctuaries are no place for the reckless. Courage may save you well here if you use it well. Curiosity, daring, a thirst for adventure, these will likely lead to your demise.
So I'll try to remember that.
Agad, I have learned not to get too attached to visitors.
Oh, that's really sad.
Whether or not you accomplish your aim here, mere survival would be a noteworthy triumph. Get back to your knapsack.
Yeah. He's like, okay. Talk over. I'm glad I talked to... He's like, okay, I've talked to both the siblings. We're done now.
And, side note, Seth actually ran across some of Agid's people spying.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
So, like, the lizard lady and the Minotaur both are...
They were talking about how...
They were digging up
the
the
others
grave.
were digging up the grave, yeah.
But they didn't have any details because, smartly, they weren't discussing what the clue said.
Yeah, Kendra was just writing it down. Yeah.
Smart!
I forgot about that.
So, yeah. So now they're heading out into Wyrmroost itself. Agid gives them some great info. He shows them...
Shows them the map room.
Now that they... If that was the lesser map room, I want to see the greater map room. Because apparently, like, the lesser map room has, like, an entire, like, floor covered... Is it, like, tactile? Like, it shows, like, the height of the mountains?
I don't know.
Either way, it looks... I imagine it looks sick. I want to see it in, like, a show, and my stomach just growled. Was it audible? I don't know.
No.
I felt like it might have been. I don't know. I'm really hungry. So... they give us some heads up about some people or creatures that they meet.
So it says, the wizard wents. The immediate surroundings of the shrine should offer shelter from Thronus or other foes.
Thronus being a sky giant, one of the last of its kind.
I missed that, sorry.
Who chooses... So he lives at Wyrmroost, and even though the dragons hate him, his stronghold is unassailable because he has control of weather. Yeah. So he can temper the climate or exacerbate the climate per
so
his own
basically,
wishes.
the dragons don't want to get in a fight with Thronus because if they do, he'll affect their ability to fly because he can control the weather.
Yeah. And so, and he's also got a good location, so they're just like, ugh. They're bitter because he got the prime real estate.
Yeah. And on their way to the shrine, they have to go past Thronus's mountain,
or literally
just a little
bit into his domain to get to the fairy shrine.
Yeah.
And so other creatures, Aga gives us a quick list: dragons, fire drakes, wyverns, basilisks, griffins, giants, mountain trolls, rocks, and phoenixes are among our more powerful inhabitants. But even the small game can be most hazardous.
Small game, which is more than the strongest thing at Fablehaven. The little things are so dangerous still.
Yeah. So
also, this is an interesting distinction. Gavin asks, are there rules to slaying dragons? I'm not going to do this stutter. The wizard shot him a hard look. Are you expecting a fight? I'm asking hypothetically. Agid scowled. Unlike some sanctuaries, there are no formal penalties affixed to the murder of a dragon here. But you must know, no dragon looks upon a dragon slayer with a kind eye unless the death occurred within a mutually accepted parameters of a formal duel. So it's interesting. There's no repercussions like the treaty here really to protect you.
I imagine that's for some, in some ways, just because due to how powerful dragons are.
They barely...
They can't be restrained.
In the sanctuary itself. They're not going to agree to not attack things.
Yeah. So, basically, you go out in the sanctuary,
you have
to them. No protection. It doesn't matter if you've killed, if you've harmed, if you've done anything, you are screwed.
They can't even stay there because... They can't even stay at Blackwell Keep because their hold on the sanctuary is so precarious, you know?
I was I gotta follow every rule to the letter or... We're done.
Yeah.
Not terrified.
No wonder the man's aged.
Okay, so I love this little bit. Gavin's I have no intention of fighting dragons. I just like to know the ground rules. Camerat said you seemed experienced with dragons. Agid said, I'm young, but my dad taught me a lot. Chuck Rose. Never heard of him.
Yeah, that was funny. He's never heard of him.
Agid's just so old.
I mean, if no one's come since Patton,
yeah, how does he get outside
very
news?
Isolated,
the most he knows at this point is that somebody's collecting artifacts because he felt the gaze of the Oculus.
That's true.
So he mentioned, during his chat with Kendra, he's somebody's got the Oculus. Who is it? Tell him. He gets some of the outside information. And I imagine that Patton also warned him a bit, hey, sometime in the future... Someone's getting busy.
That's true. Very true.
So, That's helpful.
So Patton would have returned to... Oh, wait, no. Just cut that out. Never mind. Okay. So, yeah. Also, like, Tanu asks, hey, I'm a potion master. Is it okay if I, like, get some ingredients? Do some trading? Yeah. And Ag is like, I suppose.
Because like, Agon's got to be careful not to help them too much. He needs to seem more aloof. And Tanu's like, well, this is a good way for you to help us without being traced, is if you get us some. And he's like, good point. Let's go.
Yeah.
And so I love this little bit as well. Trask gave, Kendra turned to Trask and Gavin. Helpful? Trask gave a small shrug. The more we learn about what we'll face here, the less I like it. But I'd rather be scared than blind. We better get to the others. Walking with Trask and Gavin, Kendra considered their leader. Trask seemed to be the most capable of all of them. He was tall, strong, skilled, worldly. He moved with confidence. He made swift decisions. He carried himself like a man who had seen it all. She did not enjoy hearing that he was scared.
Yeah. Trask, one of the most experienced knights, is scared and unsure. That is not a great place to be in.
And Kendra has none of those things.
Like the newest knight, basically. Mm-hmm. Though she does have quite a bit of experience for her age.
She does.
She saved the preserve 3 times in a row.
But, yeah, she has always needed help to get to those places.
Yeah. And again, it was Fablehaven. There were demons, but still.
Yeah.
These are hundreds or even thousands. I don't know how many dragons live at, or probably at least hundreds.
I would say
of dragons, Crazy. Okay.
That was really weird how the vent turned on for like 2 minutes and then shut off.
Yeah, I'm glad it's off though.
Agreed.
Okay.
Final chapter.
Okay.
We got
Chapter 19. Dragon Tamer. Woo.
This one's fun. So they're out in the Wormroost proper now, and here we see. I like this look. At the moment, she felt like a mouse dropped into a cage of snakes.
Yeah.
Kendra is speaking here, and she's just like, we gotta be just absolutely.
They have to be super vigilant.
Mm-hmm. Because
danger
they never know what's coming.
Yeah.
So, like, dragons could be anywhere, mythical creatures that they have no idea about.
Because the terrain is so beautiful. Like, they're so, like, stressed about, like, being on the lookout for danger. They probably just can't enjoy the beauty of the sanctuary.
Yeah.
That kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, they get Mendigo out.
They do, to scout out.
Scout, which is really smart. Like, scout ahead, look for danger.
And of course, oh my gosh, I just love how they describe each of the people as they're going. With his long, purposeful strides, Trask seemed determined and confident. Tanu and Mara wore serious, thoughtful expressions. Dugan appeared calm, as if on a casual stroll to enjoy nature.
Yeah.
Warren repeatedly tossed a stick in the air, apparently trying to see how many times he could spin it end over end before catching it.
He needs stimulation. He's
the
bored.
Man is ADHD. The man is so ADHD coded.
Well, it's also probably like, this is my walking stick. Also, fighting stick. I don't know.
Oh, somebody comes up from behind him. He's smacking him in the face with that stick, and before he draws the sword. And then Gavin brought up the rear, anxiously rubbing his palms with his thumbs, eyes in constant motion. Okay. They get out Mendigo.
I love how a minute or two later, Trask and Warren emerged with the knapsack, followed by Mendigo, golden hooks of his joints jingling. Besides carrying his huge crossbow, Trask wore a pair of matching swords across his back, twin daggers at his waist, and Warren held the sword he claimed at Lost Mesa. Like, Trask is armed and ready. Yeah. It reminds me of that part in Lord of the Rings, Two Towers, when they get to Eridos and they're going in to meet the King of Rohan.
And they say
Theoden,
disarm.
and they're like, take out all your weapons. And then they're all like taking out all these swords and knives and stuff, just completely armed everywhere. It's so funny.
That's pretty good, yeah. So for the others' weapons, so Trask is armed to the teeth. Warren has a sword. Mendigo has an 8-foot spear and a heavy battle axe. Mara takes the spear, and Dugan takes the axe. Whereas Tanu just has sleeping darts and potions with a blowgun. from Vanessa.
Gavin has his walking
and
stick.
Gavin has his walking stick. Okay.
Okay,
It's good to be
Mr.
armed.
Dragon guy.
Yeah. All right. So Mendigo scout the perimeter, and of course he puts Kendra as top priority.
Yeah.
And in case any danger happens, and then
Instructions.
Mara begins pointing out landmarks.
Mara has the map in her head.
Yeah.
She is leading them.
Me at Disneyland.
They see some griffins flying around.
Nothing too bad happens the first day. They have Mendigo scout, but they also have a watch. Kendra stays on watch initially. Something happens in the bushes, but nothing attacks them. So overall, they're fine.
And the next day, they keep going.
Let's see. Again, Mara leading the way. So the next main thing that happens is a Periton is spotted, and then a lot of Peritons, and then a whole herd of Peritons, which is spelled P-E-R-Y-T-O-N. How do you pronounce
Periton?
Periton? I guess the Y threw me off. I thought it had to be more of an E sound. Periton.
I say Periton.
All right, that one's not too different.
Yeah.
So
they
Mendigo
see
comes
a flock of Peritons,
back.
which are like, what were they described? Did you say that?
They're deer with wings. A large winged stag with a massive rack of black horns, golden fur, feathered wings, and hindquarters.
They sound kind of nice, but they're not.
Whenever they land close to you, they have razor sharp teeth.
Yeah.
And they're snapping.
Okay. And then Kendra counted more of a dozen before so they start running because they're like, oh, this is dangerous.
But then they also hear a roar.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Sorry, go.
A tremendous roar exploded behind them, an ear-splitting imitation of thunder and jet engines, exceeding even the mighty bellows Kendra had heard from the demon Bahamut. A Periton hit the ground near Kendra, sharp hooves gouging the earth, jaws snapping at her razor teeth missing by inches. Without a pause, the Periton bounded skyward, wings unfurling. Another landed near Dugan. So they're like, the Peritons are fleeing from a dragon, and also as they go by, they're like kind of half-heartedly trying to take bites out of them, but it's like,
because like that's still their nature. Like when they see, like they're still gonna snap, but their priority currently is get away.
And so when they realize that there's a dragon nearby, everyone's like, crap, we have to run. Yeah. So they all kind of scatter and just try to run away from the dragon and the Peritons, and
honestly, the Peritons are really cool. Like, I wonder if like they come from a specific part of some culture's mythology.
Probably
like,
is.
They kind of
mythology.
They're kind of like flying fish in that their wings aren't meant to like sustain flight. They're not like Pegasi.
They glide.
They glide, exactly.
Yeah.
Like they use the wings to get airborne, but then they just glide down, and then like they use.
Yeah. So basically, for a while, Kendra is with like Dugan and Mara, and they're just like running, and they don't know where anyone else is because really they kind of all split off, scattered.
When it turns bad is when one of the Peritons crashes in front of them, is injured, and therefore can't get away. That's when it turns and starts attacking them. Yeah. That's when when the flight instinct is now impossible, it turns to the fight. And it nearly gets Kendra, but they manage to bring it down, and so they're running as fast as they can now to get away. And so Mara grabs Kendra, gets them on the back of a Periton because she has the animal connection. She has what's it called? It's like beast control, I think.
We have 7 minutes. We got to keep going.
I'm sorry. She's Ezra, basically.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Their Periton, doesn't it like crash?
Not quite. It's just it's not able to get as high, so it makes them, It
so
makes them a target.
They're
and the
weaker prey.
Them.
The dragon comes after them, and then Kendra's like paralyzed to the spot.
Because at this point, Mara's gone because she tried to ditch to try to lighten the load.
Yeah.
Like
so now it's just Kendra.
Trying to distract. Now it's
they're all trying to help Kendra, and Kendra gets
unfortunately is now
targeted by the dragon.
And so this dragon is huge, scales shining blue and violet, and it was initially just hungry, chasing the Peritons. But then once it sees them, it's like, okay, now we need to investigate this. And so
the dragon starts talking to Kendra.
And after Kendra tried to dip, but again, did not get away. But so even though she usually can keep her mind and her mind is still clear, she locks eyes and now she can't even speak.
Yeah.
She has no control because she looked into the eyes of the dragon.
And then from the knapsack, Seth is like peeking out and he sees what's happening. He's like, I have to go out and help her. So he goes out of the knapsack and, you know, shows himself to go and help Kendra. And then at first
because he thinks, I'm a shadow charmer. I can resist the fear.
He's like, I can resist it. And at first he is also paralyzed. And then the dragon is like, siblings, you look similar, you know, and is like, are you going to be able to talk? And then he can't do it either. And he's like, how disappointing. I guess I'll just have to eat you.
She's like, which one should I eat first, light or dark?
Yeah. And then, out of like instinct, Kendra and Seth grab each other's hands. And then after they're touching, they can both speak.
They kind of like share abilities.
Yeah.
Kendra's like frees Seth's mind, whereas Seth frees her from like the fear, which is something that we have a premise for, because when Seth was trying to get out of the Patton's old mansion, trying to get away from Aphira, if he grabbed Warren's hand, he was able to resist the fear. Yeah. So it's established that they can kind of extend his influence.
And so it's a cool thing because like together they're basically a dragon tamer. And so they're like, please don't eat us, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then Gavin shows up and is like, start talking to the dragon and start talking in like dragon talk?
Draconic
talk, yeah. Draconia, I don't know, to the dragon and convinces her name is Nafia, to go away and leave them alone.
Which, something we did not notice, is we have heard the name Nafia before because part of the reason that Patton is hated in Wormroost is because he stole an egg. The egg belonged to Nafia. And Agan mentions this when they're having their conversation. He was actually kind of a supporter of this because apparently Nafia would eat her young.
Yeah.
And so Agan was like, hey, if you're going to take one,
take this
grab
dragon
one of hers.
To save the dragon.
So Shalise is Nafia's daughter. So interesting thing there.
So Nafia leaves, and then Gavin comes over and is like, are you guys okay? He's
Talk
like,
smack.
Yeah, he's like, I'm fine. Kendra's like, I'm fine. This is my brother. And Gavin's like, I kind of thought. And then...
I love this part. Thank you for letting me Kendra grabbed Seth by his upper arms and shook him. What are you doing here?
Easy. He shrugged away from her. What do you think, that I wandered into the woods of Fablehaven to pout? Give me a little credit. I stowed away. Good thing I did. Don't you get what happened? Together, we're a dragon tamer.
Yeah, and it's actually really cool because only Gavin has been able to look a dragon in the eyes and converse normally. Together, Seth and Kendra can actually do that.
Yeah.
So, fun facts. But then we find out that the others are not as so well off.
Yeah. Tanu hit his head really hard and got knocked out. And Warren...
was gored.
Yeah. So early on, he got gored.
The Peryton got on a horn with the antlers. Yeah.
Taken along.
And dragged. Like, just imagine being, like, lifted in the air by, I think it says his stomach at one point.
Yeah.
And he's just being not thrown, but just, like, lugged along as, like,
gored.
His insides are being...
His insides are coming to the outside, anyway.
Juggled around.
So they're like, let's go find the others. Yeah. We'll talk about Seth and the implications of this later.
And...
So, that's the end of the chapters. So, yeah. That was our first part in Wormroost. Woohoo! More to come. We really have to stop. Jessica.
We really do need to stop. Okay. I just love this one so much. I'm going to do the outro.
Okay. All right. So yeah, these episodes, these chapters were great. It basically is an episode. These chapters are good. Now they all know that Seth is there. Now we know that they can be a dragon tamer together, and more to come when
and Warren's hurt, which is always the worst case scenario.
The best joke comes later. Anyway.
We can't. Okay. The next chapter has such a great moment.
We're excited for these next chapters.
There are so many gravestone jokes in this book.
Oh my gosh, that's true. Okay. I'm ending. No more comments. We need to stop. Okay. Thank you guys for joining us in this episode of the Knights of the Dawn podcast. We really appreciate all of your support. If you could, we would love if you would give this a like or send us an email at knightsofthedawnpodcast@gmail.com. If you have any comments, leave a comment on the YouTube. You can find us anywhere podcasts are found. And if you know anyone that also likes Brandon Wolf's books, please share this with them. We just want to grow this community, and we appreciate all the input that you guys give to us. And so that's it for this week. Until next time, I'm Megan.
And I'm Jessica.
See ya.
Drink the milk.